Alright, guys. So, as we're sort of more than halfway done with the year, right? I just want to take a moment to sort of self-reflect on what's happened this year. Because for me, this has sort of been a gap year. And honestly, that's just putting it generously. I'm going to just rip the band-aid off and say I haven't done shit this year. I haven't done anything at all. Like, I'm talking nothing. A big fucking nothing burger, nothing fries, nothing ketchup, nothing drink, just absolutely nothing, right? I haven't gone to school. I haven't worked. I also don't need to work because I'm also still getting disability pay from the Army since I got discharged recently a while back. And I'm also collecting checks from EDD twice a month since I'm not working. So I don't need to work. I already have plenty of money coming in every month, right? Which sounds great without having to do anything, but yeah, right? So all I've been doing this year, honestly, hand to heart, right? Just playing games, fucking eating, going to the gym, and talking to people online. I really haven't been doing anything with my life this year. And I want to talk about that, right? So it's been kind of depressing at times because sort of I just feel like I don't know what my purpose is anymore. I have no idea. Which I'll talk about in a separate video for sure. But a lot of things can happen and change in a year, right? A lot of, not even a year, even a fucking day, a week, a month, right? But even in a year, right? And sort of when I look at where I was, at least last year compared to where I am right now, there's a lot of stuff that I'm not exactly happy with, okay? On the other hand, I also can't say it was a complete waste of time either, because on paper, yeah, it has been the most nothing period of my life in a while, right? I haven't done any honest work practically the whole year. I haven't really been actively working towards anything besides maintaining my health and body. And even then, I was sort of slacking with that. And I'm not really at my peak. I'm not really anywhere close to my peak right now, like physically. Right? A part of it is just being lazy. But another part, I just don't really know what I want right now. Again, if you asked me a while back, even like 1 year, what I felt I wanted out of this life, right? I could have given you a concise, one paragraph, sort of 30-second answer, but now I'm really not sure, right? It feels like everything I've ever known and I thought I knew has just kind of gone right out the window, right? But again, like I said, I also feel like I can't say it's been a complete waste either, right? Because I feel like this year, and I'm saying this year as just sort of a broad retrospective time period where I'm talking about this, but you can apply this to anything, right? For me personally, I feel like I've grown a lot as a person, right? I'm saying in a year like this year, but you can take it as, it could be for everybody is different, right? It could be for them, maybe it's a bad month, maybe it's a bad week, maybe it's a bad, few years, right? It doesn't matter, right? So for me, this year, I feel like I've grown as a person a lot. Trying to be a better person, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean, just a better character. So I feel like that was my big focus going into this year. And honestly, I can say I've learned a lot in that department. I don't feel I did too bad. As I've said, I've pretty much practically been terminally online this year since I've had so much free time outside of, maintaining my health and body, which I know, again, is kind of bad. And it might be an excuse I'm giving to myself, but I genuinely did also feel like I needed a year to sort of just decompress and do nothing. Because sometimes that's what we need, right? Now, for my case, I don't know about a fucking year. That's probably a bit much. But, right? Because in the past few years, for me personally, have been just nothing but work, right? And sure, there was definitely a different level of self-satisfaction doing that. I felt like I actually had a purpose. But it was only so much because at the end of the day, I still had a lot of problems when the dust settled and it was just me sitting alone in my car after work. Life still sucked. It just sucked differently, right? Money was still a problem. Social life was a fucking wreck. Absolute fucking wreck. Family life was non-existent. So I still had those problems. And honestly, like I said, even though I felt a sense of purpose, maybe while working, dust settle and fucking end of the day and nothing's happening and it's just me, I still felt like I don't know what the fuck I was doing, right? So those problems still exist. Right now, for me, they exist differently do different degrees, right? But, you know, again, and I feel like I feel like, I can't fucking talk. What is going on? I feel like I've gone backwards in a lot of things, right? Not working at all this year is probably a big part of that, contributing to that feeling. Let's just fucking be honest, right? I mean, it's kind of hard not to when I like I said, I don't have to. I just have I got a comfortable amount of money coming in twice a month, which I know sounds really privileged. I know a lot of people, including myself, that have struggled to make, you know, even the most basic ends meet, right? So I'm not trying to do some bullshit here. I'm not trying to say like, oh, you know, I know it sounds privileged, right? But there is a different set of problems that come with that. Don't get me wrong, right? But I also feel like because of that, I've lost a sense of urgency, right? A sense of direction, a purpose sort of in my own life. And I feel like that can almost be even more dangerous, right? I've dealt with some really good moments, but also really bad life-altering events in my life recently, right? And after all that, you know, once that smoke cleared, I feel like I kind of just, like right now, what I'm doing, I should just kind of defaulted back to being a loser shut-in my own kind of way. Like, I go outside a lot, you know, I still eat healthy, I still try to work out every day, but I also know deep down that it doesn't change the fact that I know I've kind of reverted back to sort of my shut-in ways. So, you know, that's not great, right? That's just, you know, to say the least. Okay. But also, in other ways, I also feel like I've grown as a person a lot, in a way that I couldn't do if I was just following the linear progression. That is probably the objectively more healthy thing to do for my life. Like if I just kept working, you know, trying to progress in my life, trying to move towards something, right? Whatever that was. Right? So, like the biggest thing right for me, like, so I have this online friend that I got to know this year through playing games. And honestly, I have no idea how to describe my relationship with her nowadays. I've talked about her in some of my past videos. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure that out. And honestly, I have no idea what she even is to me anymore. A friend, an important friend. Was it just a one-sided friendship, one-sided relationship? Maybe just someone I play games with, just someone that I happen to know deep, personal, intimate things about, but maybe also don't know at all. I have no fucking idea. I've never had such a complicated relationship like this with someone before, but that's a whole nother thing. But also, I feel like because of that, I'm not getting into that shit right now. But anyway, this person, right? I felt like I was a lot more of a toxic person prior to knowing her, and I definitely feel, obviously, there's still traces of that exist, because, you know, people can't just change that easily, right? It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work, inside and outside, internally, externally, right? That was kind of redundant, but whatever. And I'm definitely still kind of a fuck up, but even if my relationship with this friend, right, is currently a little awkward and hard to describe right now, I'm not gonna get into that. But I can still say that because of that, and because of knowing her, like without a shadow of a doubt, I can say for sure I've grown for the better because of it. Like the little things I do now, sort of, you know, how I see relationships and people and shit, how I think about shit. For example, really try to think about what I'm saying before I say it, or maybe just trying to say things and do things in a gentler way, or just trying to not to be fucking toxic in general. Right? I feel like knowing this person and sort of just trying to, I don't even know how to describe it, but I feel like I've grown, right? The point is I've grown as a person, right? And maybe I'm just saying shit. Maybe I haven't actually changed all that much and I'm just saying words, right? Because again, actions speak louder than words, right? But I can't say I am and have been genuinely trying and thinking about these things that I haven't thought about in the past. Sort of like me as a person, what I can do to better it, which is a lot more than I can say about myself in the past, right? Because I'm currently, that's something I actually do think about and try really hard with nowadays, right? And so honestly, I don't even know what this is, right? I don't know what fucking kind of rant or talk this is. You know, maybe I'm just trying to convince myself and talk to myself more than anyone. But also, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think sometimes it's okay to go backwards in life. Because growth will never be linear. Progression will never be constant, right? Ideally, it should be, but reality is never the ideal. Usually it's far from it. Probably the farthest thing from it. And you can only do so much every day. Now, that doesn't mean you should just like not try. But sometimes some of us are just trying to get by, whether that means in the physical sense, with your physical problems like money or debts or health, or that means trying to get by mentally. For example, dealing with your own mental health. Everybody has their own problems, right? But sometimes our expectations for our days, our weeks, right, or even our years have to be adjusted, right? Because everybody lives their own life differently, and you're always going to be constantly dealing with different problems throughout different phases in your life. You're going to feel and experience and think different things, different beliefs, right? And as long as your overall trend and progression is sort of going up, I think it's okay if there's some sort of dips or even lulls, right? Even if there's a lot of dips and lulls, right? And again, maybe I'm just trying to convince myself more than anyone, right? I don't really know what this is. But I still do think, I really believe it. And I feel like there may be somebody out there that needs to hear it. Because I've done a lot of really, really hard shit. Like hard fucking shit. Where I felt like I was unstoppable and on top of the world once I was done with them, right? And at the same time, I've also had really low periods in my life. Where once, like, I just didn't even know, what or who I am or what the fuck I'm doing. And I had a bunch of social problems, whatever the fuck, right? And I feel like currently, I guess my life situation is probably closer to the latter. I digress, right? But it's okay to be going backwards sometimes, right? But the important thing is to just do your best and try. And it sounds fucking stupid, right? Just try as hard as you can, whatever it is, right? Even if it's fucking just taking a shower, or even just getting out of your fucking room for 5 minutes and going outside, right? You just have to try, right? And that's all that matters. That is enough, right? Try and keep trying, right? You're gonna have a lot of moments where just nothing fucking goes right, but just keep trying. And the thing is, you don't have to always be trying really hard. And sometimes you won't try at all, right? You just won't do shit. Like, honestly, right now, like I said, I haven't been doing shit, right? And that's okay, because it's your life, right? As long as you get up at some point and try again, that's all that really matters. Because at the end of the day, right, nobody but yourself is going to see your journey, right? Only you will see your journey. Everybody else, they're just going to see the end product, right? Nobody's going to fucking care. Nobody's going to see. And nobody's going to fucking, come save you, whatever. So the onus is on you, right? But as long as you're trying, right, if your life, you feel like you're going backwards for whatever reason, everybody has their own definition of that, whatever the fuck, just keep trying, right? Because, again, at the end of the day, as I said, everybody has their own life, right? You live your own life, your way. Just keep trying. That's all that matters.